Hello everyone, I just got out of Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets last night. I saw it about this time yesterday, 7:10 p.m. It's 7:30. It's a day later, but midweek showings, that'll happen. Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets is from director Luc Besson. It is not only the most expensive independent movie ever. I know Iron Man was considered independent at one point, because Marvel's an independent studio when it was made, but Valerian, it was crowdfunded and personally funded and investing funded. Most expensive European, or at least Europa Productions movie, and most expensive just indie film. Like 150 to 170 million. Opening weekend, it was only like 20. Yeah, this movie, I got problems with this movie. Let's talk about the good, because this movie needs to be seen on the big screen. It is easily the best, like, wow visuals movie I can recall. Great Wall was the one that needs to be seen on the big screen. It really benefits. If you didn't see this on the big screen, you're missing out. Like, it's made for theaters kind of thing. There's some incredible, amazing set pieces. The opening thing with the history of humanity in space is kind of cool. There's a scene, I heard about the scene beforehand from a friend, how like people rave about it, how there's a chase and someone is going through environment through environment through environment on a space station. And it's like, this is Besson's masterwork, his defining moment. No, it was fine. I feel like I've seen stuff like that before. I haven't specifically, but it wasn't better than anything he's ever done before. The visuals were great. The action scenes were pretty good. The space fighting over the planet was, wow, really evocative of Star Wars, which is, Valerian is a comic from the 60s and 70s, up through 2010 actually. And it's a French comic. It is literally part of what ended up inspiring things like Star Wars. So to have it doing Star Wars back, it makes sense. Yeah, I'm kind of just stalling here. Let's just dive right in. Dane DeHaan is Valerian, the baddest badass space cop in space. And Cara Delevingne, everyone says her name wrong, the Enchantress from Suicide Squad. She is Laureline, his partner. And he is not the baddest badass space cop in space. He is, well, he was Norman Osborn, or Harry Osborn from the Amazing Spider-Man movies. I realized that afterwards. There's a moment at the very end where there's a standoff and he's running around shooting. I'm like, oh yeah, he's supposed to be Captain Badass. Until that moment, he's not. There's never any moments that is. And everything he does is kind of haphazard goofiness, which I guess is the character, but no. And she is a little more interesting as a character, but I'm keeping my light going here. But she's literally, okay, look, they have no chemistry, but they do, because what they're trying to do is have her not be interested, and he is, and they're playing it off cool, like, no. So there is chemistry, but it's literally negated by their own intentions. So there is fairness there. However, he's bland as all hell. There's no presence to him. He comes off as a young kid, which I get, okay, fine if he is, but it's much more like you've got Peter Parker trying to be Tony Stark, and he's capable of being Tony Stark, but he still looks like Peter Parker, and it doesn't work. And he's doing a Kung Fury voice. If I saw Kung Fury after seeing Valerian, I'd be like, oh, okay, he's riffing off Valerian, he's doing the Valerian voice. It's that bad. I'm a space cop, I'm in space. I have to go save the world in the City of 1,000 Planets. Let's go. He sounds like that the whole time. It's not good. That said, the armor is good, the visuals are good. I mean, I believe him otherwise, except not as... I believe him as some kind of cosmic guy wrapped up in things, not the savior of everything. Okay? The supporting cast, Clive Owen's in it, he's awesome. Looks like he doesn't give a crap, but he's Clive Owen, it's still fun, but it's not. Like, it could have been so much more if he decided to choose some scenery. The general dude is all right, or the commander. I forget what rank he is. They give him a name, Orok or something. I don't remember all the names because they're weird frickin' names. So fair enough there. John Goodman is some space gangster. You never see him again. Rutger Hauer's in the opening credits, and you see him for a small speech. There's literally 2 sequences back to back that you could have cut and taken out a half hour of this movie and not changed the plot. And that's where my main problem with this thing is. There is a sequence, because I'm going to avoid spoilers here, where they're getting away with a hostage and Valerian is chasing. There's a crash. And Laureline is like, I got to get my cycle thing to chase after him and fly there. And they're like, no, we can't afford to lose both of you. When it's obvious that he's just into a dead zone. Like, literally, that's what they call it. Like, there's no reception. So he's not dead, they're just MIA. We'll go get him. Like, literally. She's like, no, lock her up. They go. Imprison her. Try to. She breaks free. Goes and gets a fisherman. Because 3 little guys had info. Finds a fisherman to find a big dinosaur thing. You gotta get the male version underwater in the sub to get the jellyfish. And then they explain that with the jellyfish, put it on your head, and you'll give it thoughts, and it will project to you what you need to know about where he is. They don't explain how the jellyfish knows where it is. They show it. Okay. It takes the jellyfish off, and goes and finds Valerian. And then grabs something and gets pulled up into an area where there's a red light district, and there's this tribal cave. And she's pulled in there. And you can't get in because there's no one goes in there. It's bad guys. No one leaves. That's it. So it goes to Entertainment District to find a disguise and someone to help. And does that after this incredible visual sequence with Rihanna. Probably the best sequence of the movie. It's really cool. Leaves, infiltrates in, goes through this whole parade thing, interrupts everything, saves the day. No more disguise. Fights everything. International incident. And then they escape. And the other character doesn't make it. And we're literally back to them resuming where they were in the first place. Chasing after the hostage. So an additional character was brought in and out. If she got on her cycle, she just would have followed the path and been there. Instead, she had to go this whole roundabout way to get there, introducing a fisherman who never came back. And then when she got captured, he had to go do a thing and come back and go in. And also, when the character didn't make it out, it was very, very fake, because we literally knew this character for about 5-10 minutes, and he was crying over her death. Like, I don't buy it. We have no reason to care. I'll come back to that. And then they escape, and they're back on their path. So the entire sequences could have been cut. You could have taken the little bits of cutaways to when the general's like, what's in this file? And interspersed that between, and you could have turned that into 5 minutes. Instead, it's about a half hour in a 2-hour movie. Now, the sequences were incredible, but they weren't needed. That's my biggest problem with this movie. It wasn't needed. And I am all for guilty pleasures, okay? I'm all for enjoying the stuff for the sake of the stuff. But it serves a purpose. This served no purpose. This is likely from the 40 years of this Valerian comic, and thought, that'd be a cool scene, I'll put it here. Yeah, but the editor should have been like, no, because watch, if your movie is this, and we take this out, and now it's this, and nothing changes. Now the worst part of it is, she's in the sub, going after the jellyfish on the dinosaur, and then they get out and they got the jellyfish, and she's like, so what's the point of this anyway? And I'm like, she didn't even know what was going on for the first 15 minutes of that. Okay? Now, I said you don't care. There's this big beast thing. I mentioned John Goodman voices this gangster. And the beast thing is chasing after their squad and stuff in the opening sequence with this VR market, which was overly complicated in that you have your stuff in the market, and you put on the VR goggles and gloves and you can manipulate the other dimension. And if you buy something in the dimension, you have to put it in a box to transfer through, and you can get it in your dimension. Okay, it looked neat. Weird. Well, the guy in there that led everything through, he has a dog thing monster that chases them and can't be stopped. Like, they shot it a bajillion times and it ate the gun. And it eventually climbs onto their ship as they're escaping. And like, this thing is savage. It just destroyed a squad. And you're like, oh my god, they got to escape from this monster. It almost caught her leg. You see in the trailers, it almost bites her as she jumps. Oh my god. And then he says a cocky one-liner about someone's going to have a rough landing. And you see it hooking on as it's going into space, and it's like, oh. And then it goes back and he warps, and it's like, oh. I'm like, you made me feel sad for the death monster. I don't feel sad about the character that had time to talk and emote, that just said a lot of one-liners. And bad stuff about acting. And performance. Cool character, but like, it's talking about being an actor was bad. But I cared more about the death monster that literally got to go, woo, when it was on the ship. Yeah. I know less is more does not apply to this movie, but it really should have. That said, see it in theaters. 100%, you got to. There's all that. There are, as Shauna called it, water Navi. They're the aliens, the kind of Langley pearls, they're called. They're neat, but it was superfluous. Completely superfluous. I can never say the word right. Superficially enhanced, not needed. That's this movie. It's absolutely worth seeing on a cheap night in the theater. If you have a real big TV, watch it in 4K. Like, do that. Otherwise, it's not really worth it. It's a waste of 2 hours, and yet I don't feel like I wasted it, but you're not there for the story, you're not there for the plot, you're not there for the characters, you're not there for anything that you should be there for. You're there for the visuals Luc Besson is showing you. It is not The Fifth Element, but it is also not Jupiter Ascending. That's been the consensus people have been saying, and it's true. It's Valerian, it's the middle ground, it's the prettiest train wreck. And yet, I regret nothing about seeing it, but man, they could have cut a half hour out of that and nothing would have changed. Except I wouldn't be complaining about the weird fisherman sequence or the dumb red light tribal thing. And then there's things that just don't make sense, which is kind of fine, considering it's supposed to be so alien it doesn't. Okay. So yeah, absolutely go check that one out. It is a crazy one. Just don't pay full price on a regular night. Cheap night it. And if it's on DVD, like, only 4K it. It is reference material stuff. There is amazing visuals in this. The space flight, like, they don't skimp on anything. It is a new benchmark for visuals. That's only worth about 2.5 stars for me, though, out of 5. It's rough. It's real rough in that regard. In that regard, though, do check out other stuff on Guilty Pleasure Cinema. The website's updated! I actually put all the episodes on there and updated a few of the Scott C's and Hyperboles and stuff. I'm going to fill in more older ones, but really, at this point, the fact that I saw something in theaters 2 years ago, that isn't a priority to put on the site. I'm sure you understand. It'll be there. It's on the YouTube and everything, which is youtube.com/CyclopsScott. Do also check out youtube.com/RecklessEating for Scott's exclusives, the Canadian videos I do, for youtube.com/JobberRadio, for the wrestling podcast stuff I do and shows I'm involved on as well, and youtube.com/Zion Mainframe Gaming. I almost forgot what it was called. I'm going to record one shortly. I'm on the gaming stuff with Matt, Wolf, Tom, and the guys. Do check out all this stuff. Cyclops Scott on YouTube and Twitter. Guilty Pleasure Cinema on Facebook. And actually, you can find it, I think it's Cyclops Scott, but search for Scott Somerton, and you'll find me on Letterboxd. You'll see all the movies I've seen, what I think of them, what ones I like and dislike, and stuff like that. And the watch list, the movies I want to see. Follow me on that. It's pretty cool. There was something else I was going to say. I forget what it is. I have a Patreon. Nothing on it. I mean, if you want to throw me money, that's cool, but I don't do much of anything. But I do a movie. Of course, there's the movie in the background, but GPC is coming. I did shoot stuff for the return of that, so that is on the way as well. But I kind of want to make this a little more the focus, right? Just talk about movies. So I'm sure you want more of that. I want to do more of that. So check out all the stuff, follow it, favorite it, like it, subscribe, all that usual stuff. Yeah, and I'll see you next time. Thanks again.